What's up guys, it's Craggy here, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down the TAHM KENCH rework. If you've seen my older videos or watched my streams, you would know that I used to be a TAHM KENCH main. Back in season 9 I used to play a lot of TAHM KENCH and I played Yorick. I basically 2-tricked those champions to GM. And yeah, TAHM KENCH used to be a really fun champ back then. But then because pro players kept on using him, Riot Games thought gutting him was the play, and then he became useless for like 2 seasons straight. But with the introduction of this rework, I'm really hopeful TAHM KENCH is going to be playable again, and I'm going to be making more TAHM KENCH content. Alright, so let's get to the changes now. So the small changes they did to him: they increased his mana per level to 50, they lowered his armor to 42, which is by 5, they lowered his HP by 30, and they lowered his HP per level by 5. So they overall nerfed his stats. Don't know why they did that. His base stats got nerfed for some reason. I feel like it wasn't warranted. Maybe they thought he would be too strong in the early game. But even then, I don't see the point in nerfing his base stats, because they did nerf his dueling power, so I don't get how that adds up, but okay. So the first change comes to his passive. His attack still 2.5% of his health, bonus magic damage against champions. They add a stack of an acquired taste for 5 seconds and they add up to 3 times. It's the same passive, but what they did change is the percent of his health. It used to be 4% of his health, now it's 2.5%, which is a 37.5% decrease. I'd say that's a pretty big nerf to his passive. It makes his dueling power weaker, and what they have to do is add power somewhere else in his kit. If they don't do that, or make the champ really weak. That's the whole point of the reworks, to make him more viable, so let's see the next changes to make him more viable. Alright, so let's move on to TAHM KENCH's Q changes. On champion hit, TAHM KENCH now heals for % of his missing health. This also applies a stack of acquired taste. That's huge. Let's explain it. He now heals for %. So obviously % is listed there. Each time you put a level into it, it goes up to 10%. Take note though, it says missing health, so it won't be a huge change. If it was of total health or max health, then it would be pretty big, but only missing health, so the percentages isn't as big as you think it is. If you only lose 100 health, let's say, you're only going to gain 10% of it back. It's not a lot, it's only 10 health, so it's not amazing, but I'm excited for the fact that it applies a stack of acquired taste. Before TAHM KENCH was gutted, it used to be that his Q used to apply acquired taste, but they removed it, which made it really clunky, but now they added it back. I'm really excited for that. They've also kept the AP ratios and the slow, so that's really good as well. Another thing I've got to mention is that his Q range increases depending on the size of TAHM KENCH. So the bigger TAHM KENCH is, the longer his Q range is going to be, so building Iceborne is probably going to be the play. Alright, so let's move on to his W, which is a huge change because they swapped his W and his ult. Dive down and reappear at a target's location, dealing a certain amount of AP damage along with 100% AP ratio. Knock everyone up in an area for 1 second, devoured allies can be taken along just like his old ult, and they can hop out early, which they couldn't but they can. So this ability is very controversial but interesting. It's not a global ult, not like his old ult. You know, when you were level 11 you could have basically done a TF ult. Now it's not global, it's a certain range, but it does have an AP ratio attached to it, which is very interesting. You can do like a off-tank AP build, which we'll explain later. The knockup sounds nice. It won't be as fluid as his QW combo back before, so his 1v1s may be weaker. In the early game at least, because obviously the AP ratio is pretty big for later into the game. It's an interesting ability. I think overall it's going to be cool. It's a change that I'm going to welcome. And I'm only going to welcome it because his current W is too OP for pro play. If we let that stay, then we all know he's going to be gutted for life, because they don't want him to be in pro play that often for some reason. Even though it isn't a big problem in solo queue, it is what it is. We have to change it. This will be interesting for the mid game and team fighting, because TAHM KENCH does struggle in the team fight. If his team is useless and you're kind of behind, you can't really do much. This will give him the utility required to do a lot of stuff. He can make big plays with this ability. And I'm going to welcome it because you can still do combos. If you can stun someone, you can use a W and still combo with it. It just be slightly less damage. You can also use it to do ganks, you can use it to escape ganks, you can use it to initiate hiding in bushes. It's interesting. To say the least, I think it's an interesting ability. And I think there's going to be a skill floor attached to this ability, so that's nice. Moving on to his E, it's the same thing. I'm not going to read it out because if you know TAHM KENCH's E, it's the same thing. The only difference is it lasts for slightly longer. Before it was 2 seconds, now it's 2.5 seconds. 0.5 second increase. Okay, nice. Moving on to his ult now. His ult is now his old W. So you devour them, for 3 seconds you spit them out, you do a certain amount of damage. From what I'm doing, for my calculations, I don't know if I'm wrong, isn't the overall damage 60% on average? Or I think it's 60% increase in damage. I don't know if I calculated it wrong, but I think it's 60%, which is pretty big, I'd say, in his ult damage. But the biggest thing is the shielding now. It now shields an ally if you swallow them and spit them back out. The shield is comparable to a Shen ult, so we can do some funky AP build over here. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Comparable how Shen players build Redemption. I'm pretty sure they build Redemption to have that big ass shield. You can do it for TAHM Kench, I think. Of course it's not going to be as strong because it's not global, but hey, I think that's huge. That's going to be huge, especially the movement speed as well. You now have more movement speed when you're swallowing your enemy or the teammates, so you can swallow someone and spit them under the tower, potentially, without being a problem. Alright, so we just covered the abilities. Here's my final conclusion when it comes to the TAHM Kench rework. I'm overall excited. I think these changes are going to make TAHM Kench fun. It's going to be a new change to him. He's been the same for a while now, but this rework is going to be rejuvenated. It's going to be interesting to play. I'm really excited to play him when it comes to the live servers. I can't play him on PB now because the ping is crazy high, and every time I try to play, someone keeps picking TAHM Kench. It's really annoying. It's a very interesting take, like I said. They are swapping around certain aspects of his playstyle. He's going to be less of a cheesy laner where he gets kills in lane early game, dominates laning phase, but then kind of falls off mid to late game. Instead, he's going to be pretty strong in lane. I still think he's going to get some good kills. You can still surprise people with the damage, especially with the AP build I'm thinking on top of my head right now. I think it's going to be very interesting. His top lane is going to be really fun. I can see a lot of dueling happen. I can see outplays happening. I can see a skill oppression. I can see a skill expression being made with this champion. He's going to not be a brainless champion. He's going to have some skill expression tied to him, so I'm really excited for that. I know this rework is a controversial take as well. I've been reading TAHM Kench main comments and a lot of people are complaining. They think this is not a good change. I think you should give it a chance. Let it come to live servers. Give it a chance, because a lot of people, every time there's a change, people always complain, oh no, what are you doing? Why are you changing this? No, I want my old champion back. Guys, give it a chance. Changes have to happen. We need a change and we need to see how it's going to work out. If it does go bad, if it goes to 30% win rate, okay, it's a failure. But take my word for it. Someone that's played TAHM Kench for years. I played him in Season 9. I even played him when I first played League back in Season 7. I think he's a good champion. I mean Season 6, by the way, not Season 7. I think he's a good champion. I think he's going to be decent. Alright, give it a chance. I may get dislikes for saying that from TAHM Kench streams, but guys, seriously, give it a chance. I think it might be pretty good. You'll be surprised. Also, I know there's going to be some fun varieties when it comes to builds. I have a feeling, similar to Zac, there's going to be an off-tank build that does a lot of AP damage. You know, when he builds Frostfire, Gauntlet, Demonic Embrace, Rhylizer type of build, it's going to be the same thing for TAHM Kench. I have a feeling Frostfire is going to be a must, along with stuff like Demonic Embrace and other AP items, which is going to be fun. And to end it off there, I'm really excited, so I'm going to make more TAHM Kench content. I used to only make Yorick content, but I'm going to transition to making more TAHM Kench content as well now, because this is bringing excitement to me. If TAHM Kench becomes fun again, hey, I'm going to pick him up, make more TAHM Kench content like I did for Yorick. So be sure to tune in there, subscribe if you want to see more TAHM Kench content, like the video if you did enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
We shall prevail. We have eternity.